Today we will be going over 4.1a, volume. You will need your 4.1a volume notes, your math notebook, and your 6B textbook. With special guest musical performances by world-renowned artists, Bumble the Cockatiel. In this video, you can expect to hear the beautiful melodies of Bumble the bird sprinkled throughout this math video. Her passions aren't just limited to singing, but also include bringing math lessons to students around the world. Now, without further ado, let's get started. What is volume? Volume is the amount of three-dimensional space that an object occupies, or the capacity that it can hold. For example, the volume of a rock that is solid is the amount of space that it takes up, or the volume of a tank might be referring to the amount of water that it can hold. The volume of a cuboid can be found by multiplying length by width by height, or the area of the base times the height. Let's find the volume of this cuboid. The length is 10 centimeters. The height is 5 centimeters, and our last measurement is the width at 4 centimeters. Let's plug this into our formula. 10 centimeters times 4 centimeters times 5 centimeters is 200 centimeters cubed. If we know the cuboid's volume and the length of its sides, we can find the length of the remaining side by using division. For example, if we are given the length and width, we can find the height using this formula. Height equals volume divided by length times width. If we know the volume and the area of one face, we can find the dimension perpendicular or opposite to that face using this formula. Height equals volume divided by area. Example 1, textbook, page 54. Ning Dae used 1 centimeter cubes to build a cube of edge 4 centimeters. How many cubes did he use? Let's work out this problem together. Alright, so let's find the volume of this cube. We know the measurement of each of the edges of this cube. We know that the length is 4 centimeters, that the width is 4 centimeters, and the height is also 4 centimeters. So I want you to think back, and what is the formula that you use to find the volume of a rectangular prism? The formula you're going to use is length times width times height. So in this case, let's go ahead and plug in our information into our formula. Our length is 4 centimeters. Times our width, which is also 4 centimeters. Times our height, which is again 4 centimeters. Let's go ahead and multiply this out. 4 times 4 is 16. And then we're going to multiply 16 by 4 again, which is 64. Now, we're not quite finished yet because we've multiplied all of our numbers out, but we haven't multiplied out our units yet. So we have centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. So what is our unit going to be? Our unit is going to be centimeters cubed. The volume of this cube is 64 centimeters cubed. How many 1 centimeter cubes does he need to build a cube of edge 5 centimeters? The first step that we need to do is find out what our missing measurements are. So since we're working with a cube, we know each of the edges is going to be the same length. So if the length is 5 centimeters, then we know the width is also going to be 5 centimeters, and the height here is going to be 5 centimeters as well. To find the volume of this cube, we are going to need to multiply our length times width times height. Our length is 5 centimeters multiplied by our width of 5 centimeters multiplied by our height, which is also 5 centimeters. There we go. 5 times 5 is 25. Next, we're going to multiply 25 by our 5 up here, which is 125. Now we still need to find our unit. We have centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. What is our unit going to be? Our unit is centimeters cubed. Since the volume of this cube is 125 centimeters cubed, we know that it will take 125 small 1 centimeter cubes to fill this larger cube. So our final answer is 125. If he builds a cube with 729 pieces of 1 centimeter cubes, find the edge of the cube. Let's use this chart to help us find out the edge of the cube. The left column lists edge of cube units. This is how many units would fit along each edge. On the right, it shows what the volume of that cube would be. We need the row that shows the volume at 729 units. To create a cube with a volume of 729 centimeters cubed, the edge of the cube must be 9 centimeters. In problems where you are given volume of a cube, you must find the number A, where A times A times A is the volume. Example 2, textbook page 55, number 1. This figure shows a solid consisting of 10 cubes of edge, 2 centimeters. Find its volume. Let's go ahead and find the volume of this solid. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go about trying to find the volume of this. I'm just going to show you one of the ways to do it. What we know is we know what the solid looks like, and we also know the measurement of the length of one of the cubes that make it up. First step we're going to do is find the volume of an individual cube that makes up this solid. So to find that volume, we're going to multiply length times width times height. So our length is 2 centimeters. We're going to multiply this by the width. So even though they didn't directly tell you what the width is, you can figure it out because you know each of these building blocks is a cube. So the length, the width, and the height are all going to be the same distance. So we know our width is going to be 2 centimeters as well. And our height is also 2 centimeters. So let's multiply this out. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. Now let's find our unit. We have centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. This means that our unit is going to be centimeters cubed. This tells us that each one of these building blocks that makes up this solid has the volume 8 centimeters cubed. We are going to multiply this number by the number of cubes needed to build this shape. We know this bottom section is 3 cubes in this direction and 2 cubes in this direction. 3 times 2 is 6. So we know this bottom section is going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes that we can see, and 2 cubes in the back that we can't see. So if we have 4 up here and 6 on the bottom, you will need 10 cubes to build this solid. 10 times 8 centimeters cubed, which is the volume of each one of the cubes, is what? To multiply this out, we're going to multiply 10 times 8, which is, whoa, that's not how you write an 8. There we go, 80. And our unit we're going to bring down is still centimeters cubed. So the volume of this entire solid is going to be 80 centimeters cubed. There are a lot of other ways that you can try to solve this problem, so I want you to think, what's another way that I could try to solve it? And try it. Do your answers match? Did you get 80 centimeters cubed? Example 3, textbook page 55, number 2. How many cubes of edge 2 centimeters are needed to build a cuboid measuring 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters by 6 centimeters? This problem is a little bit different from some of the other problems that we've been working on. So we want to find out how many 2 centimeter cubes would be needed to build this solid. We're going to do this by finding how many cubes would fit along each measurement. So if we have a 10 centimeter length here in our rectangular prism, how many 2 centimeter cubes could we line up there? If we laid one down, that would be 2 centimeters in this direction. We could fit a second, that would be 4 centimeters, 6 centimeters, 8 centimeters, and 10 centimeters. And we're gonna pretend that I drew those well, okay? Now, along this length, we have 10 centimeters as well. So how many cubes could we lay down in that direction? We could lay down 5 in this direction as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to draw those in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we can fit 5 2 centimeter cubes along this length. Our height is 6 centimeters. So how many 2 centimeter cubes would we need to stack on top of each other to make a height of 6 centimeters? We would need 3. So we already have 1 drawn there. We're gonna add 1, 2 more. Our height would be 2, 4, 6 centimeters. Now we know how many cubes we would need in each direction. So we can find the volume based on that information. So if we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, our new length that we're going to use is 5 times our width, which we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cubes along our width, times our height, which we have 1, 2, 3 cubes stacked on top of each other for our height. Now we're going to multiply this out. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 3 is 75. We would need 75 2 centimeter cubes in order to build this rectangular prism.